everybody knows who I am. And you are well aware of my name. I am sure. Aaron Dumas is the name, Aaron Dumas. I've been a writer since 1977. I didn't start with the Gleaner Company. I started with the Daily News, it was called, the paper was called. And I wrote in the Sunday Sun for the Sunday paper. And it was the #1 column until, unfortunately, the newspaper closed, the company closed, and I was invited to come to the Gleaner. Well, it's a counseling column. We cover family matters, love problems, including sex, of course, and money, children, just about everything. The problems that people face in relationships.
What has been your favorite part of writing your column over the years?
All I can tell you is that I have enjoyed doing so because I get the satisfaction of knowing that I'm assisting folks, that I'm helping people, you know what I mean? And people would call me and say, thank you, or write to me and say, thank you, because what you said really helped me. That gives me great satisfaction. No money in the world can take that away from me. So it has been a great ministry, you know, for me.
Has there been any lessons that you remember that had a great personal impact on you?
Yes, there are many, but let me tell you about this one. There is a girl who wrote to me, and I have kept that letter. There's so many of them I don't know, but I kept that letter. She wrote, she was from a rural parish, and she did not know that her mother was also her sister. You see, the mother was impregnated by her father, that's the mother's father, and she was sent abroad. So this young lady who wrote to me was born in America, but this is Jamaica, you know, and people sometimes know what's going on. So after a while, the mother came back to Jamaica and brought her, of course. And she said she heard growing up that people would mock her and say that her father is also her grandfather and all this kind of thing. But when then the time came when she had to go to take common entrance, you know, in those days. And then is when she realized, hold on, something not right here. This lady I thought was just my sister is my mother. And that thing bothered me a lot. I found out also that this was something her father, grandfather, because he had both, had done in the past by impregnating another of his daughter. Well, she and I became very good friends, and I helped her. And there was this lady from the Catholic Church, or I was almost called her name, who took her under her wings and helped her. And then I got a letter from her brother thanking me for helping his sister. You got to be careful now, because his brother and uncle, and so that's one of the letters I have never forgotten. One that indeed has touched me. But I tell you what, she eventually, because she was born in the United States of America, she was able to return and go to university, and it's a long time now, but she was doing well. So that's one of them. I can tell you about others, but generally as a counselor, some things touch you more than others. A lady brought her son to see me one day, and he got involved with an animal. And, as a counselor, you train and not to show emotion, but I would tell you, I looked at the young man, and after they left, I said, Lord, and it bothered me. It really bothered me, because a young woman seeing that man would think that he was a good, decent young guy, but, he wasn't at all. And people in the community found out, and they were threatening to kill him, Yeah, they were threatening to kill him. But that's with an animal, and I better not say what type of animal. But a young lady contacted me too, and she got involved with the dog. When I was growing up, you hear about dogs doing such and such with women. Oh.
What was your advice to that?
Huh?
What was your advice to that young woman?
God will forgive her. God will forgive her. And of course, you go, get rid of the dog, man. So even in our country here, you see men don't like women who have dogs and the dogs kissing them and, all over the place. And sometimes the guys have good reasons. I would say there are too many handsome guys around. Why would a girl use a dog? I told a man one day, I said, if you don't believe some of these things, why don't you come to my office? I said, do you drink? You can have some white rum, drink some white rum, and then come and I show you some. Of course, I wouldn't let him see anybody's name. And I said, you would understand that what we put in there, we have had to edit them. You know what I mean? Because we cannot put all the things that, or some of the things that people write. A young lady wrote once, and she said about her father, she called his name, and she says, every time he touches me, I don't want to use what. You know what happened to a woman when she's having intercourse?
Okay, she's satisfied.
All right, then we'll put it that way. That's a nice way. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And this is a biological father. Yeah, it's a biological father.
You have to edit some of the things to even...
Not some of the things, all of them. Very few letters that we won't have to edit. And sometimes it depends on the person's education. They speak standard English, but some don't at all. You know what I mean? They use, they don't know how to say, not even the word sex. They would say, they use the F word. You know, whether you know it or not, it is more difficult to tell me, Pastor, than for me to talk to people on my talk show.
Why do you say that?
Because I have to be so careful and try to, oh yes, much more, because more time consuming. A man calls me and we can relate. You know, and I'm done. Of course, people call me even after my show is finished at night, and I still talk to them. But with the letters, I have to look at them, and if I don't answer immediately, I get calls and so on. A girl wrote to me and she told me how terrible her spouse was to her, and I said to her, I wrote back and I said, leave him. Well, he saw it and he called me and he said, Pastor Dumas, where my woman gone? And I said, what are you talking about? You said you told her to leave me and she gone. And I said I did the right thing. So he was extremely upset. You know what I mean? But I go through that. You know, I mean, my dear, it used to be worse. I think people have come to realize Dumas gonna talk his mind, don't even bother. You know, and believe me, and that's what it is. I speak my mind. My own nephew saw me one day and he said, Uncle, I don't agree with you. And I said, well, what does that have to do with me? You don't agree, you don't agree. It's your business. And I was gone, and I maintain that. I don't know if there's anything that will surprise me, really and truly, because I've covered so many areas, so many topics. You know what I mean? I am yet to face something that will surprise me. But if there is a matter, I'm willing to learn. I'm always willing to learn. I read a lot. I read. And by the way, I've read things that some people would say a person shouldn't read. I was in the airplane, in an airplane one day, and a man sitting on the row before me, he threw a magazine. He said, I'm finished with this. I don't know the man. I didn't know the man. He didn't know me. When I took it, it was the Playboy magazine. So I suppose as a good Christian, you would think I should just close it up and say, no, sir, I don't want that. I read it. It didn't hurt me. I was mature enough to read and to accept or reject. Well, I can encourage all the readers of the Star to continue to do so. It's not just light stuff as some people think. Some of you have done good work. So if the editor hasn't not told you so, their pastor is saying that to you today. Wish you well, wish the Star well. I really do. And may it always publish news. You know, some people think of it as just entertainment. Well, there must be entertainment. You know, but you should be quick to bring the public news. Because I tell you this, there are some people who would not buy the Gleaner. No, they would not. But they'll buy the Star. A friend of mine saw me one day, the senior man in the ministry to me, and he said, man, I was in a train and the Star came around and everybody bought the Star and turned to your column. Well, I thank God that the Star has been able to carry my column all these years. And I will continue as long as the Gleaner would like me to do so.